Harmony Renee Montgomery was born on June 7, 2014, to Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery. From the very beginning, her life was marked by instability. Her mother struggled with substance abuse, creating an unsafe environment for a newborn. Just 2 months after her birth, child welfare authorities intervened. Citing neglect concerns, they placed Harmony into foster care with Tim and Michelle Raftery, a family prepared to provide stability and attention to her needs. Harmony faced serious health challenges early in life. She was blind in one eye and had other medical conditions that required monitoring. Despite these obstacles, her foster mother later described her as a bright, social, and happy child, someone who quickly formed connections with those around her. The Rafteries provided a nurturing home, but her placement there was not permanent. Over the next few years, Harmony's life was defined by movement between homes. Under the supervision of the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families DCF, she alternated between living with her mother and returning to foster care. This instability persisted until 2018, when Crystal Sorey permanently lost custody of Harmony and her younger half-brother, Jameson. Jameson was later adopted, a decision that legally separated the siblings but could not erase their emotional bond. That bond would become a poignant detail after Harmony's disappearance. In February 2019, the Massachusetts court made a consequential ruling. Adam Montgomery, Harmony's father, was granted full custody, despite his documented history of violence and criminal behavior. The judge chose not to apply the Interstate Compact for the Placement of Children, ICPS, a measure designed to ensure oversight when a child moves to another state. This decision ended Massachusetts' DCF supervision entirely. Following the ruling, Harmony was relocated to New Hampshire to live with her father. This marked a critical turning point in her life, one that would later draw significant criticism from child welfare advocates and officials. The Massachusetts Office of the Child Advocate concluded that the system had prioritized parental rights over a vulnerable child's safety. That choice, in the absence of ongoing oversight, would have devastating consequences in the years to come. On December 7th, 2019, prosecutors say Adam Montgomery fatally assaulted his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony Montgomery, following a bathroom accident. At the time, the family, Adam, his wife Kayla Montgomery, and Harmony, were living inside their car, moving between locations in New Hampshire. According to testimony from Kayla Montgomery and corroborating court records, the incident began while Adam was driving. Angered by the accident, he repeatedly struck Harmony in the face and head with a closed fist. The blows were so forceful that Kayla later described a visible change in Harmony's facial profile. Despite the severity of the injuries, Adam did not stop immediately. The assault continued until he appeared to realize the extent of the harm he had caused. Rather than seeking medical help, Adam made a series of deliberate choices that prosecutors later characterized as showing cruelty and depravity. He drove to a Burger King, where he purchased food, and then used drugs, all while Harmony's condition worsened in the back seat. Witness accounts from the trial emphasize that no attempt was made to call for help or take her to a hospital. Later that same day, the car broke down. It was at this point, according to Kayla's testimony, that Adam discovered Harmony had died. Faced with the reality of her death, Adam began the process of concealing her body. Kayla told the court that Adam folded her in half to fit her into a hospital-style duffel bag. This action marked the beginning of a months-long effort to hide Harmony's remains, a decision that ensured her body would never be recovered. The prosecution argued that these events demonstrated not only physical violence, but also profound disregard for Harmony's life. The details presented in court painted a picture of calculated neglect, where opportunities to save a child's life were ignored. Kayla's account, delivered under oath, provided the timeline that connected the assault, the lack of medical intervention, and immediate concealment of the body. December 7, 2019, thus became a pivotal date in the investigation, a day when, according to prosecutors, a preventable tragedy was sealed by a father's violent actions and his refusal to seek help. Following Harmony Montgomery's death on December 7, 2019, Adam Montgomery began a prolonged effort to hide her body, moving it between locations over the next 3 months. The sequence of events, detailed in Kayla Montgomery's testimony, revealed the disturbing lengths he went to in order to conceal the crime. Initially, Harmony's body was placed in a hospital-style duffel bag. From there, Adam moved the bag into the trunk of a friend's car, where it remained for a period of time. This first step in concealment showed a calculated attempt to keep her remains hidden from both authorities and anyone who might suspect what had happened. The body was then transferred into a cooler, which Adam placed in the hallway of an apartment building. It was a location passed by others daily, yet the true contents remained unknown. At some point, Harmony's remains were moved again, this time into a ceiling vent at a homeless shelter. Prosecutors later underscored the disturbing fact that Adam slept directly beneath that ceiling, fully aware of what was hidden above him. Kayla testified to one of the most unsettling details. She was forced to carry Harmony's remains inside a maternity tote bag, placed beneath her other children in a stroller, as they moved between locations. This act, she said, was done under Adam's direction, adding another layer of cruelty to the concealment process. Eventually, Adam transported Harmony's body to the Portland Pie restaurant, where he was employed. There, he stored her remains in a workplace freezer. The concealment continued until March 4th, 2020, when Adam disposed of her body entirely. To this day, Harmony's remains have never been recovered. Even when offered a reduced prison sentence in exchange for revealing the location of his daughter's body, Adam Montgomery refused to provide the information. This decision has left investigators, family members, and the public without closure, ensuring that the final resting place of Harmony Montgomery remains unknown. Prosecutors presented these movements of the body as evidence of Adam's intent to obstruct justice and avoid accountability. Each step in concealment was another calculated attempt to erase the physical evidence of a crime that could not be undone. Harmony Montgomery's disappearance went unnoticed by authorities for nearly 2 years. Her mother, Crystal Sorey, began to grow concerned when Harmony failed to attend a planned Thanksgiving visit in 2019. Attempts to reach Adam Montgomery for answers were unsuccessful, as he blocked her on Facebook, cutting off with a few lines of communication. Crystal's last contact with her daughter had been a FaceTime call in the spring of 2019. As months passed without any sign of Harmony, Crystal's suspicions deepened. In November 2021, she formally reported her daughter missing to Manchester police. The report set off an investigation that immediately revealed troubling inconsistencies. Adam told others that Harmony was living with her mother, a claim that investigators quickly determined to be false. Interviews with Adam's relatives uncovered allegations of prior abuse. One family member recalled seeing Harmony with a black eye in 2019, allegedly the result of Adam having bashed her. Reports of such incidents have been made to child protection agencies, but no decisive action followed. These missed opportunities to intervene became a central criticism as the case unfolded. The investigation moved swiftly once authorities began piecing together the timeline. Physical searches were conducted, witnesses were interviewed, and evidence was reviewed. Despite the absence of Harmony's body, investigators relied on testimony and circumstantial evidence to form a grim conclusion. By January 2022, Manchester police announced that they believe Harmony had been murdered. The announcement marked a turning point in public awareness of the case, transforming it from a missing child investigation into a homicide inquiry. In August 2022, officials went further, publicly confirming their belief that Adam Montgomery was responsible for his daughter's death. Adam was arrested in early 2022 on charges connected to Harmony's disappearance. While the exact circumstances of her death were not yet disclosed, authorities made it clear that the evidence pointed to a violent and deliberate act. The arrest ended the long period in which Harmony's fate had been unknown to law enforcement but opened a new chapter, one focused on securing justice for a child whose absence had been overlooked for far too long. Adam Montgomery's murder trial began on February 8, 2024, in New Hampshire. Prosecutors brought multiple charges against him, including second-degree murder, second-degree assault, witness tampering, falsifying physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. The proceedings focused on reconstructing the events leading to the death of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony Montgomery, and the subsequent concealment of her body. Throughout much of the trial, Adam was absent from the courtroom. He chose not to attend most sessions, including the day the jury delivered its verdict. His absence was noted by both the prosecution and the media, emphasizing his refusal to directly face the evidence and testimony presented against him. The prosecution built its case on witness statements, physical evidence, and particularly the testimony of Adams' estranged wife, Kayla Montgomery. Jurors heard detailed accounts of repeated assaults, deliberate concealment of Harmony's body, and misleading statements made to investigators and family members. Prosecutors argued that Adams' actions demonstrated intent, cruelty, and a sustained effort to evade accountability. Adams' defense was led by attorney Caroline Smith, who asserted that he had not killed Harmony. Instead, she argued Adam had acted inexplicably after finding her dead. This narrative sought to separate the act of killing from his documented behavior in hiding the body. However, Smith acknowledged that Adams' actions following Harmony's death were deeply troubling and difficult to justify. Initially, Adam had agreed to plead guilty to the lesser charges of abuse of a corpse and falsifying physical evidence. This agreement, however, did not cover the murder and assault charges, which preceded a trial. The prosecution maintained that the totality of the evidence, both direct and circumstantial, pointed to Adam as the person responsible for Harmony's death. On February 22, 2024, the jury returned its verdict. Adam Montgomery was convicted on all counts, including second-degree murder. The decision brought an end to the trial phase of the case, confirming the prosecution's argument that Harmony's death had been both violent and intentional. While the verdict delivered a measure of legal justice, the unanswered question of Harmony's final resting place remained unresolved. Kayla Montgomery, Harmony Montgomery's stepmother, played a central role in the prosecution's case against Adam Montgomery. In 2022, she pleaded guilty to perjury after lying to a grand jury about details related to Harmony Montgomery's disappearance. As part of a cooperation agreement, Kayla provided testimony in exchange for parole in 2024. Her decision to cooperate marked a turning point in the investigation and later in the trial. On the stand, Kayla delivered a detailed account of the day Harmony was killed, the subsequent concealment of her body, and her own involvement. Actions, she said, were carried out under Adam's direction. She described the repeated assaults Adam inflicted on Harmony on December 7, 2019, following a bathroom accident while they lived in their car. According to her testimony, Adam struck Harmony multiple times in the face and head, altering her facial appearance. Kayla also outlined the steps Adam took to hide Harmony's remains over following months, moving the body through a series of locations, including a duffel bag, cooler, ceiling vent, and freezer. She recounted being forced to carry Harmony's remains inside a maternity tote placed beneath her other children in a stroller. Kayla testified that she complied out of fear, describing a marriage marked by control, intimidation, and abuse. Defense attorneys challenged her credibility throughout cross-examination. They highlighted her criminal record, her prior lies to authorities, and inconsistencies in her statements over time. The defense argued that her shifting accounts raised doubts about the reliability of her testimony. Despite these challenges, prosecutors emphasized that Kayla's testimony was consistent with other evidence and witness accounts. They argued that her inside knowledge of the events, combined with corroborating details, made her an indispensable witness. Ultimately, the jury appeared to accept her account as credible enough to support the prosecution's case, contributing significantly to Adam Montgomery's conviction on all charges. On May 9, 2024, Judge Amy Messer sentenced Adam Montgomery to a term of 45 years to life for the murder of his daughter, Harmony Montgomery. Additional consecutive sentences for second-degree assault, witness tampering, falsifying evidence, and abuse of a corpse brought his total minimum sentence to at least 56 years. These terms will be served after his existing prison sentence for unrelated weapons charges. The prosecution had extended an offer to recommend a reduced sentence if Adam disclosed the location of Harmony's remains. Despite the opportunity, Adam refused to provide any information, maintaining his silence and leaving Harmony's final resting place unknown. The sentencing hearing included deeply emotional victim impact statements. Harmony's mother, Crystal Sorey, described Adam as a monster and spoke through tears about her daughter's light, joy, and enduring spirit. She reflected on the years lost and the pain of never being able to give Harmony a proper burial. Jameson, Harmony's younger half-brother who had been adopted after being separated from her in childhood, shared his grief through a statement read aloud by his adoptive father. He described the special connection he shared with Harmony, recalling how she made him laugh and feel safe. His words conveyed a profound sense of loss, emphasizing the lifelong impact her absence will have on him. The courtroom atmosphere was marked by a mixture of sorrow and outrage, with many attendees expressing frustration that Adam's refusal to reveal Harmony's location deprived the family of closure. The judge's remarks underscore the severity of the crimes and the cruelty shown, making clear that the lengthy sentence was both a punishment and a measure to protect the public from further harm. In March 2024, Adam filed an appeal of the conviction, seeking to overturn the verdict. At the same time, Harmony's mother, Crystal Sorey, began legal proceedings to have her daughter officially declared deceased, a necessary step to resolve certain legal matters and to formally acknowledge Harmony's death in court records. Crystal also pursued a wrongful death lawsuit against New Hampshire's Child Welfare Agency, alleging negligence in protecting Harmony despite multiple warning signs and reports of abuse. The case concluded with a settlement in which the state agreed to pay $2.25 million to Harmony's estate. The settlement did not include any admission of wrongdoing by the agency, but it drew significant public attention to systemic shortcomings in the oversight and protection of vulnerable children. The outcome of Harmony's case prompted renewed public and legislative debate about child welfare reform. Advocates, legal experts, and state officials emphasized that the failures in Harmony's case were not isolated. They noted similar multi-million-dollar settlements in other child death cases, pointing to a pattern of systemic issues, including insufficient oversight, miscommunication between agencies, and prioritizing parental rights over child safety. Officials stressed the urgent need for comprehensive reform to ensure earlier intervention in cases of suspected abuse, better cross-state coordination, and stronger accountability for agencies tasked with protecting children. Harmony's story, they argued, should serve as a catalyst for change, reminding policymakers that failures in the system can have irreversible consequences.